There is a place in America where the mountains are so old, they have forgotten their own names. Where the fog doesn't lift, it waits. Where locals will tell you, in a voice lower than a whisper, if you hear something calling your name from the tree lane, do not answer it. Tonight, we're going into the Appalachian Mountains. And we're not coming back the same. Stay with me. East Tennessee is no ancient name for this one. No carving in a museum. No legend written in a book. Because the people who know about it don't write it down. They warn their children verbally. One rule, passed from parent to child for generations across the Appalachian hollows. If you hear a voice you recognize calling to you from the woods, do not answer. Do not go. Do not even look. Because it is not them. A woman from Western Virginia, she posted her account online, then deleted it 3 days later, described a night she went camping with her husband near the Virginia-Tennessee border. She woke at 2 a.m. to the sound of her husband calling her name. From outside the tent. She reached over. Her husband was asleep beside her. If a voice you love calls to you from the dark, stay where you are. Especially if it sounds exactly right. 2 stories. 2 things that have no clean explanation. The last one is different. Because this one is documented. By neighbors. By a general. By the only case in American history where paranormal testimony was admitted as legal evidence in a court of law. The Appalachians stretch for nearly 2,000 miles, from Alabama to Canada. They are the oldest mountains on Earth, older than dinosaurs, older than oceans as we know them. And the people who settled those hollows, those narrow valleys between the peaks, they brought their fears with them. Scottish ghost stories. Irish banshee legends. Cherokee warnings about what lives in the dark between the trees. Those fears didn't disappear. They merged. What was born from that darkness has no clean name. No single origin. Only countless accounts, passed down in hushed voices, around fires that people kept burning through the night for a reason. These are 3 of those stories. The Cherokee people who lived in these mountains for centuries had a name for the terror that hunted the night hours. Ewok. The spirit of madness. The thing that could steal your mind simply by being seen. But there is another story. Older. Quieter. A woman, the legend goes, was forbidden from attending the sacred ceremonies of the hunters. So one night, she wrapped herself in the pelt of a mountain cat and crept into the forest to watch, to listen, from the shadows. The elders discovered her. And the medicine man looked at her with eyes that carried the weight of 1,000 mountain winters, and he spoke words that cannot be unsaid. She was cursed. Half woman. Half mountain cat. Forever trapped between 2 worlds, unable to rest in either. People in East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, Virginia, they still see her. Or something they cannot explain. A woman who reported an encounter near Gatlinburg in 2019 described hearing crying in the woods behind her property. Not an animal cry. A woman sobbing. She went to the back porch with a flashlight. The light caught 2 eyes. Low to the ground. Then standing upright. She said the eyes were yellow. The size of her fist. And they did not blink. She went inside. She locked the door. She left every light in the house burning until morning. The crying stopped. But the footprints she found the next morning, around her back fence, circling the property, were not the footprints of any animal she has ever been able to identify. Long narrow. 5-toed. Like something that walks on 2 legs when it wants to, and 4 when it doesn't. We're only on the first story, and the next one, is the one that locals refuse to talk about. Because talking about it, they say, is how it finds you. She lay completely still. The voice called again. Her name. His voice. Perfectly. The exact cadence. The way he shortened her name when he was tired. The little pause before the last syllable. She said she has heard her husband say her name 10,000 times. And whatever was outside that tent had learned all of it. She did not respond. She pressed her hand over her husband's mouth before he could speak. He woke up confused, and then he heard it too. His own voice. Outside. Calling her. They did not move until dawn. In the morning, they found the grass around their campsite flattened in a wide circle, as if something had been walking around them all night long. Patient. Waiting. Appalachian folklore has a word for these things. Mimics. Creatures, or perhaps something older than the word creature, that steady you. Learn the sounds you trust. The voices that would make you drop your guard, step outside, walk toward the tree lane. The rule has never changed. Robertson County, Tennessee. 1817. John Bell was a respected farmer and a deacon in the Red Bottom Baptist Church. His family had built something solid in those Tennessee hills, a good home, good land, a good name. Then the sounds began. Knocking. At first from outside the walls. Then inside them. Scratching, as if something enormous was dragging its nails across the floorboards beneath the family's feet, all through the night. The Bell daughters reported waking to someone pulling their sheets. To hair being pulled. To the unmistakable feeling of cold hands on their faces in the dark. John Bell told no one. For months, he told no one. Because men of his standing did not speak of such things. But then the entity found its voice. It began to sing. Old hymns, perfectly rendered. It quoted scripture. It whispered the names of everyone who visited the Bell Forum, including people that had never been introduced to. Word spread. And eventually, it reached General Andrew Jackson, the man who would become the 7th President of the United States. Jackson visited the Bell Forum with a group of skeptical men, all of them armed. Before they reached the property, his wagon stopped. The wheels would not turn. The horses were calm. The road was clear. But the wagon simply stopped. Jackson reportedly said, "It's the witch." He stayed one night. He left the next morning and never spoke of what he experienced in detail, only that he would rather face the entire British Army again than spend another night in that house. John Bell died in December of 1820. A vial of strange liquid was found near his body. The family gave some to the family cat. The cat died within hours. The entity spoke on the morning of his funeral. Witnesses reported it singing loudly through the walls. It is the only paranormal case in American legal history where testimony about the entity was admitted as evidence in a court proceeding. The Bell Forum still stands. And locals in Robertson County still do not walk that road at night. 3 stories. 3 mountains. 3 reminders that there are places on this earth where the dark has a memory. Where it has been watching long enough to know your voice. Your name. The sound of the people you love. The Appalachians are still there. Still old. Still quiet. And if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of those trees at dusk, and something calls your name from the shadows, you already know what to do. If this story found its way to you, perhaps it was meant to. Subscribe to Silent Bell Stories. Because every week, the bell rings once more. And there is always another tale in the dark.